Hi there, I'm Lance and I'm a gamer.
And I'm Sam, and I'm a non-gamer.
And we are Love to Hate, where we help gamers find great games to play with non-gamers.
And today we're taking a look at Pop Art by Road to Infamy.
Alright, so Pop Art. This is the newest game from Road to Infamy, and this is coming to crowdfunding here in the very near future, so make sure to check out the link down below in the description of this video after you watch it to check out the campaign page to get all the details on this little game. Now what you have here with Pop Art, this is going to be the next game in Road to Infamy's line of games in which you use cards that are transparent see-through cards, layering them on top of other cards to create some sort of artwork. If you're familiar with their very popular game Canvas, then you are probably going to like Pop Art because you will be doing that same concept. Except in this one, there's a lot of color involved, and you'll be mixing colors trying to create a 3x3 grid with each card having its own scoring condition, and you're trying to match those scoring conditions as best you can by the end of the game. Let's go down to the table where I'll show you how this one works, and then we'll come back and share our thoughts on it as a gamer and non-gamer. All right, here's Pop Art on the table. Now, I do want to make sure you understand everything you see in this portion of the video is prototype, so the final artwork components, maybe even some of the rules, might change once it's released from crowdfunding. That being said, what you have for components, you are going to have a large deck of cards, and these cards are going to be the background artwork cards. They're going to come in yellow, reddish pink, and blue, and these also are going to have some of the scoring conditions at the bottom of each of the cards. These little icons up here are going to be the colorblind friendly symbols to tell you what the different colors of the cards are in case you're colorblind. Now these are likely to change with the actual game. We've been notified by the publisher that they are making some changes to the colorblind friendliness of this game to make it even better and being able to tell what the colors are, not necessarily using these symbols, but rather there's going to be a way to make it be better with words. And so, yeah, you'll check the campaign page to get more details on that. But anyhow, these are the background cards. In addition to that, you've got these layered cards right here that come in these two cases that also double as player reference aids, explaining some of the icons over here. And then in case if you really didn't pass, first or second grade and you don't remember what colors mix together to make other colors, you can reference this color reference right here. But let's take a look at some of these layered cards, and as you can kind of sort of see, some of them the color pops out a little bit better once you put something behind it. As you can see, this is kind of that magenta pink red color, and it's obviously got a lava lamp. And this is a particular object art card, whereas, let's see if I can find a different one. Here we go. Here is a person. And you can see there that it's got the person icon. Now, how this game is going to work, you're going to be taking one of the layered cards and one of the background cards, and you're going to be putting them on top of each other. And as you can see, it changed this yellow into an orange because we've got a yellow overlay with a pink magenta card, and when you combine those two, it makes orange. Now, in addition to the orange color of the card, it has changed what we're scoring. So this particular background card says it's giving you 3 points if you place something immediately to the left of wherever you have this card in your grid. And what is that something? Well, it is a purple card. So if you place a purple card right next to this card on the left of it, now it is 5 points because this layer gave 2 extra points in addition to the 3. So now it is 5 points. But if we were to change the layer, going back to that lava lamp, well, now we've got 5 points for a orange card directly to the left. And as you can see, some of the layers are the same primary colors of the magenta, yellow, and cyan or blue. And so when you place, obviously, a magenta on top of magenta, it stays magenta. And so that's kind of the idea with this game. Now, how it's going to work Let's finish talking about the different components. We haven't discussed all of that yet. So we've got the layered cards, we've got the background cards. You also are going to have some goal cards for people to work on and part of the advanced mode of the game. You do also have a solo opponent that you can play against if you are into solo gaming, and you've got a nice little score pad to keep track of the scores at the end of the game. Now, let's talk about how this game works, clearing off some of the components here. Players are going to sit kind of in a circle where you've got somebody to your left, somebody to your right, and everybody is going to be dealt 3 background cards and 3 layered cards, and players will take a look at what they've got. Oh man, I've got all pink. That's not great. I guess at the beginning of the game it doesn't matter so much, but when you're towards the end of the game, you really want some certain colors, you want some variety, so this is not a good hand. But anyhow, what players will be doing is taking one of their background cards and one of their layer cards to figure out what is the best 2-card combo for them. So this particular one is a purple VW bus, as you can see. 2 points if you only have one object in your 3x3 grid, because you will be ultimately making a 3x3 grid using these 2-card combos making up each slot in that grid. So this would be my one object. If I can make it so that this is the only object that I have in my grid at the end of the game, I get a measly 2 points. That's maybe not the best card for me to, or best combo for me to go for. Maybe this would be a better one. I would get 4 points if I can put another object directly to the left of wherever I have this one. So let's just say that I end up going with this, and I would place this in front of me. Now, my first one that I place is not necessarily saying that it's in any specific spot in my 3x3 grid. As the game continues, if I ended up placing one right here, for instance, then now obviously this is no longer in the furthest left of my 3x3 grid. This could be, or maybe I might end up putting another one here, and now this has become the furthest right of my 3x3 grid, or maybe I put this down here. I think you guys get the idea. Your grid grows as you play the game. Now, if I ended up using this, I would take my other cards that I have not used, and I would pass them to the player on my left, and then I would receive cards from the player on my right. And so let's pretend that I get 2 cards from the player to my right. And with these 4 cards, I would then draw another background card and another layer card, refilling my hand back up to a hand of 3 layers, 3 backgrounds, and I would repeat the same process, figuring out what is the best 2-card combo and where should I place it in my 3x3 grid, and the game would continue going so on and so forth until players have a 3x3 grid built up in front of them. Now, there are no rules about needing to place adjacent to something in your grid, so I could have this one here and I could have that one there and be a gap in the middle, or they could be diagonal from each other. There's no rules about having to place in certain spots. You just have to stay within a 3x3 grid confine, if you will. At the end of the game, you're going to add up your points using your score pad, writing in how much each card gives you, and then obviously totaling up the 9 cards for your total. Whoever has the most points is going to be the winner, but let's talk about the advanced mode. In the advanced mode, you are going to have some goals for people to work on, and you could play with however many goals you want, 0, 1, 2. It's your choice, and check out the campaign page to get more details on the advanced mode. These are the ones that were sent with us in the prototype copy. Not sure if these will be the ones that are in the final copy or not, but here are some examples. If you can make it so that you have no matching adjacent colors, then you're going to get 6 extra points. If you can get all 6 colors in your 3x3 grid, you'll get 6 points. And then here's one that you can collaborate with the person on your left or the person on your right. Matching the same colors in the positions in the grid, trying to get at least 3, well, then you'll get 4 points. And there's little explanations of what each of these mean on the back to help you to understand the rules. So that's the advanced mode. If you want to play that, let's talk about the solo mode real quick. So in the solo mode, essentially what you're going to do is follow these rules right here, which is basically to have a set of 3 and a set of 3 at the beginning of each round, choosing Again, same idea, choosing one of each to make a card combo and placing that in your grid, and then you'll discard the rest of what you have, drawing 3 more and 3 more, and repeating the process, basically playing the same game. But if you ever need to compare something, because some of the cards, such as this one right here, tells you to compare yourself to the person on your left or maybe the person on your right. And so, for instance, this one is saying that you'll get 3 points per blue in the grid to the person on your left. And so you'll have to look and see how many does that person have. And sometimes it'll ask you to compare. Do you have more or less than the person on your left? If you have more, then you'll get points. If you have equal to or less, then you won't get any points. And so when you need to compare with the solo player, you will flip this card over and you'll compare. So for instance, how many magentas do they have? Well, the solo only has 1. So if you've got 2, you've got more than the solo. But if it's asking you how many objects does the solo person have? Well, the objects are going to be 4 in this case. So you need to have 5 if you're going to get those points. And then obviously you're just trying to reach a threshold, 40, 50, or 60, depending on easy, medium, and hard. And that's what you got here with the solo opponent. But there you go, guys. That is Pop Art. Let's go back up top and share our thoughts on this one. And we're back, and now we're going to share our thoughts on Pop Art from a gamer and non-gamer's perspective. So Sam, first thing I want to ask you about with this particular game is what your thoughts were behind the rules and understanding the concept of this game and really sinking your teeth into what you're trying to do with this game, because I feel like it's a very simple kind of idea that you're just getting these cards passed to you, you're layering, you're trying to figure out what's your best option amongst the 2 sets of 3 that you have, and then where do I put that in my 3x3 grid? Really, that's what you're doing with this game. So what was that like for you as a non-gamer trying to figure out how to do your best with this one?
I mean, it was easy to play. It's reminded me of other games we've played. I can't think of one specifically, but the grid and figuring out where things go, not being able to switch it around later on.
Right, yeah.
So figuring out what's going to get you the most points. Usually, I don't think most of us could do all of our goals.
Right.
So you kind of have to pick and choose, like what do I think I'm going to be able to do most of.
Right.
So that, I mean, there's strategy, but at the same time, it's pretty, it's quick decisions.
Yeah, this is a game that the game just flies, right? Like you probably can play a complete game in I would say 10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
20 minutes being on the long end of that, really. And the turns are generally pretty quick because you get these 6 cards, and you're figuring out, okay, what's the best pair out of what I can make here with it.
Yeah.
And then at the beginning of the game, nothing really matters as far as where you're placing it. So you just place it, and then you go, and you get the next set, and you go, and you get the next set. And it's really kind of in maybe those later rounds where you really kind of have to decide, okay, it's coming down to it. I need that one last purple, and I need it right here. If I don't get it there, what's my next best thing? Okay, now I've got to do this. So,
and it's nice that you're making your own grid versus like a board.
A shared grid, yeah.
Well, no, like a board. So like when you put your first one down, that can be the center. It can be.
It can shift around.
Yeah. Versus like if you had a board and you have to make that decision at the very beginning.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now let's talk about, because what Road to Infamy is very famous for with their game Canvas, layering these cards, and that kind of changes not only what you see with the artwork, but also what the card is actually doing for you in the game. You have that same kind of experience here with Canvas in that the layered card will, dictate what's maybe going to give you points, whereas the underneath card tells you where does that need to be in your grid or who you're comparing against. And each one of those dramatically changes.
Because there's not a whole lot of communication between players either. So you really have to
you're observing, right? Like you're looking at what are they doing?
Which I wasn't great about that. I'm very focused on what my grid looks like, and then I'm like, oh, right. I gotta look at everybody else.
Yeah. I just really enjoyed just how radically different the different pairings can be. Whereas you get this set of cards, and you're thinking, okay, so this is very straightforward. I get 1 point for every blue, right? Like something like that. Where then you get this other one, and it's like, do you have more than the person to your left and the objects? And you're like, I don't know, do I? Like you have to ask these questions and start to figure out what's going to
Yeah.
give me the best points, and that changes as the game unfolds. That's a really fun part of this
Yeah.
game, I feel like.
Yeah.
For you, being the non-gamer, trying to figure out that evolving nature of the game,
Yeah.
what was that like for you?
I mean, there's definitely a frustration element to it, but I wouldn't say it's like bad frustration. It's motivational frustration,
Yeah,
I
for sure.
guess. That, you know, that kind of tickle in your brain you get
Yeah.
when you're trying to figure things out. So it's a good.
I love the way you said that, the
Yeah.
tickling your brain, because that's exactly what I feel
Yeah.
like I get with this
Yeah.
game. And then it's in a short little punch, a 10,
Yeah.
15, 20-minute punch.
Yeah.
And it's just that. And you can play this game multiple times in a
Yeah,
row.
which I think that too. Like, it's a quick game, so if you don't do well, which I didn't do well the first time we played, you can play it again pretty quickly afterwards, and you can be like, okay, well, this time I'm going to try to do this or pay more attention to this or
Yeah.
change your strategy up a little bit.
A game, like we've been saying, the game is short, quick, fast, fun. And the in-game scoring is very easy with it as well. You just got to score each of those little cards.
Yeah.
And then boom, you've got your winner figured out pretty quickly with this one. So it
I
does.
think I came in dead last.
It lends itself to being able to play again very quickly if you don't do very well
Yeah.
the first time around.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be a big hit with a lot of
Yeah.
people.
It's a good little travel game. We brought it to a hotel and played with our friends.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you can play it almost anywhere. You need to be
Right.
careful with the cards sliding around, but other than that, you don't need much
No,
else.
you don't-
Just space.
Yeah, right, exactly. And I also love the way it looks. I love this
Yeah.
kind of like almost Norman Rockwell kind
Yeah.
of pop art. I mean, the game is called pop art.
Yeah.
It looks pretty cool out on the table too,
Yeah.
especially with the neon colors and the blending
Yeah.
and everything. So, one that you would recommend playing with non-gamers?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would absolutely agree with that as well. This is another big hit from Road to Infamy. The game is called Pop Art. It is coming to crowdfunding, so make sure to check out the link down below in the description of this video now that you've watched it to get all the details on the campaign page. And while you're down there, make sure to leave us some comments. Let us know what you think about Pop Art.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.